Gouverneur de la ville, hein.
Severe flooding has struck Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, following torrential rainfall that began overnight from Friday, the 4th of April, into Saturday. As of the 7th of April, at least 33 people have been confirmed dead, with dozens more injured, thousands displaced, and major infrastructure across the city significantly damaged. The scale of the disaster has prompted growing concern both domestically and among international observers, as Kinshasa continues to grapple with recurrent extreme weather events linked to poor urban resilience and climate variability. The rainfall began late on Friday evening and continued into Saturday morning, leading to the rapid overflow of key waterways, including the Njili River. Widespread flooding was reported across multiple communes and neighborhoods. According to Kinshasa's Provincial Minister of Public Health, Patrician Gongo Abakazi, the fatalities occurred either due to drowning or from structural collapses, as floodwaters caused walls and buildings to give way. The Ministry of Interior confirmed that 46 people were injured, and preliminary estimates suggest approximately 12,000 homes sustained damage or destruction. The flooding brought Kinshasa's main transportation routes to a halt. National Road 1, a critical artery connecting the city center to Njili International Airport, was submerged, forcing authorities to deploy emergency ferry services to assist stranded travelers. Power outages, water supply interruptions, and blocked roadways have further exacerbated the crisis. Public services across the city remain partially suspended. Witnesses reported that the rainfall intensity was among the highest in recent memory, with local meteorological stations measuring significant hourly rainfall totals well above seasonal averages. The most severely affected areas span a wide portion of Kinshasa and include several densely populated communes. Among them are Mont Ngafula, Kimwenza, and Galima, which experienced extensive flooding and are currently facing limited accessibility due to submerged roadways. The neighborhoods of Limete, Barumbu, Matete, and Messina also reported significant damage, with water levels rising into homes and commercial buildings. In Sibo, flooding has disrupted local markets and overwhelmed drainage systems, contributing to rising concerns over sanitation. Emergency evacuations are actively being carried out in both Mont Amba and Changu, where water levels remain dangerously high and landslide risk is increasing. In the districts of Debenham and Danu, residents were forced to use improvised canoes or swim through streets, as the floodwaters completely submerged road networks and ground floors of homes. Many residents became trapped on upper floors after lower levels of buildings flooded. In several homes, water reached heights of 1.5 meters, making evacuation extremely dangerous and difficult. Local authorities have been coordinating with the police and military to conduct search and rescue operations, particularly in areas where narrow alleyways and high-density housing have hampered rapid access. In addition to residential losses, damage has been reported to schools, community health centers, and small businesses, significantly disrupting daily life in these already underserved neighborhoods. Kinshasa is particularly vulnerable to flood disasters due to a combination of rapid urban expansion, unregulated construction, and inadequate infrastructure. The city, home to nearly 17 million residents, is built along the banks of the Congo River and includes numerous informal settlements. These areas often lack proper drainage systems and are prone to soil erosion and landslides. Accumulated garbage frequently blocks existing stormwater drains, and construction on natural floodplains has limited the city's ability to channel excess water away from populated zones. Experts have noted that this combination of factors turns routine seasonal rains into deadly flood events. The December 2022 floods in Kinshasa, which killed over 120 people, raised similar concerns but resulted in limited infrastructure improvements. Urban planners have frequently raised red flags about the city's failure to enforce zoning regulations and its lack of investment in drainage networks. Informal housing continues to expand in high-risk zones, further compounding the city's vulnerability. Additionally, the lack of early warning systems and insufficient public awareness campaigns leave residents unprepared when extreme weather events strike. Emergency response teams often lack the equipment and personnel to act quickly during disasters of this scale. In response to the disaster, the Congolese government has launched a crisis management unit involving the military, the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Transport, and provincial officials. Emergency teams have been deployed to the most affected districts to conduct evacuations, provide medical assistance, and begin initial cleanup operations. Temporary shelters, including a stadium in central Kinshasa, are being used to house displaced families. Relief supplies, however, remain limited, and access to some areas is still obstructed. The Ministry of Transport has initiated partial reopenings of key routes, with traffic to and from Njili International Airport expected to resume normal operations within the next 72 hours. Pending further rainfall. In addition to emergency logistics, the government has made public appeals for donations and humanitarian assistance. Local NGOs and community leaders are collaborating with provincial authorities to distribute clean drinking water, food, and blankets. However, some critics have questioned the government's preparedness and ability to coordinate across agencies, pointing to delays in deploying resources and the lack of a long-term disaster risk reduction strategy. Meteorological agencies have warned of continued heavy rainfall in Kinshasa and surrounding areas throughout the week. There is concern that further precipitation could worsen flooding conditions, especially in zones where the ground is already saturated. Authorities have urged residents in vulnerable areas to evacuate where possible and to remain alert for additional landslides or structural collapses. The government has not yet released an official recovery plan, but is expected to assess long-term damage in the coming days. The Congo Basin, which includes Kinshasa, is expected to experience intensified rainy seasons due to regional climate shifts, according to recent projections from African climate monitoring agencies. Forecast models indicate a strong likelihood of continued storms across western DRC, raising the possibility that other cities along the river basin could also face localized flooding in the near term. As of the 7th of April, the flooding in Kinshasa has resulted in at least 33 confirmed fatalities and 46 injuries, according to official reports. Over 12,000 homes have been damaged or destroyed, while power outages, transportation blockages, and widespread infrastructural disruptions continue to impact daily life in the capital. Evacuations remain ongoing in several communes, including Montamba and Chengu, as authorities work to reach residents in the most severely affected zones. As recovery operations proceed, the situation has drawn renewed scrutiny toward Kinshasa's long-standing infrastructural vulnerabilities and the urgent need for sustainable urban planning and disaster resilience measures. The response to this crisis will likely serve as a benchmark for evaluating the government's capacity to manage climate-induced disasters moving forward. Calls for international support and collaboration are expected to increase in the coming days. This report will continue to monitor the evolving situation. For more updates on severe weather events and humanitarian responses around the world, subscribe and follow this channel.